Yeah, there we go. Now I can be heard. Now I can be heard. Yeah, so an awful lot of stuff been going on in my own personal life. That's why I haven't been streaming as much. I've wanted to. That's pretty much all you've missed. So yeah, so let's just kind of get right into it, right? Like, there's no real kind of point in, let's not fuck about. So yeah, so I think that the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the Andrew Tate thing. And okay, so that's a little bit fucked up right now, but just kind of pretend that this is not here, because I haven't calibrated the other one where it's just me. So it's just going to be us. This is just going to be looking. Anyway, I've heard an awful lot about this. I always say ahead of time, just in case there's anybody new here, I always say ahead of time if I have seen any of the videos that I am reacting to. I haven't seen this one. I've seen an awful lot of people that are covering it. I've seen an awful lot of people talking about it. I've seen some clips of it, but I haven't seen anything in full. My audio was really fucking high there, so I'm just going to turn that down just ever so slightly, and that should be good. Yeah, so yeah, let's just fucking crack right on and get into this. I haven't seen it. I'm only kind of guessing that this is when he joins the stream, because he's literally, like, he's in two places, and I've seen some clips where it's just him in this kind of lower area, so I'm just going to guess that that's the start of it. So, and that's not coming across on stream. I don't know why this is not working with me. It should be working with me, but it isn't working with me. It's very annoying. It's coming across now.
Put a poll in the chat, and let's see who agrees with you.
Why will we take a poll in the chat? Of course, teenage boys are going to agree with your hyper idealized manhood. Like, they need to cling to that.
Okay, do you guys want me to step in on this conversation, or
let's go?
No, we're not gonna do no 2 versus 1 bullshit. We're gonna wrap it up with Tommy, and then you guys can go at it.
no 2 versus 1 bullshit? Yeah, you mean like the Aiden Ross stream when anyway. XQC was getting fucking triple teamed. All right.
I didn't want to. All right, Tommy. I'm just a messenger. Let's not hate. Let's not hate the messenger.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you have a safe flight, and I hope you enjoyed your time here.
Dude, I did. Andrew, take care, brother. Hasan, I just say to you, boss. I appreciate you, man, putting the word out there. Thank you, guys.
Good to talk, bro.
Have a good day.
Appreciate you coming on, Tommy. Have a good one, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Oh, this is somebody else that's signing off. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Wow, that was quite the conversation. How do you feel about my guy, Tommy?
Sorry, you asking me or the?
Yeah. Andrew.
On my way to 19
I don't know him personally. I have nothing against him personally. He's a new age thinker. He lives in the new think, the idea that the way the world runs and has always run is a bad thing, and that if we change everything from the ground up, it's somehow going to become a magically better place. Obviously, he has no proof or any references for his way of thinking, because it's never been tested before. It's an untested theory. I think that for him to come along and say such blanket statements that if we changed all the world leaders to women, there wouldn't be war is inane and asinine. I think for him to say that a man who's physically strong can't be mentally strong is also stupid. But I also understand why he's saying the ideas he's saying, because he has a natural insecurity based on the fact that he's not a physical specimen of man, and the way he gets around it is to pretend that that's not important, which is fine. Lots of people do it, right? Stupid people saying being smart is not important. Poor people saying being rich is not important. It's a common defense mechanism that everybody does, and I completely understand it. However, most people with a basic grasp of economics and the way societies work would look at society and say, you know what? A society with brave, strong men who are full of honor and duty is actually a better society than men who walk around saying, I have no duty to protect anybody or protect anything, and I can just sit around and cry all day. And this theory is being tested in real time, right? America's quickly turning into the latter.
Yeah, whoa, right, okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so Spooky in chat asked what's occurring. There was a debate between Hasan, who, like, I don't necessarily have too much against Hasan. It's not that I have a problem with the man, but he's just not my type of content normally. But he went on and he debated Andrew Tate. If you don't know who Andrew Tate is, I probably should have said this before we went in. I just kind of assumed that everyone did. For those of you who don't know who Andrew Tate is he's very, very, very fast becoming a virgin's idea of what like alpha masculinity is, right? And like someone who has gotten picked on and bullied every second of their lives, like this is who they think a tough guy is, right? Or that's what they think tough is. He is a despicable human being, and I do not say that in any way, shape, or form, you know, lightly. He is genuinely a despicable human being. So he has several warrants out for his arrest in the United States, for human trafficking, for sexually assaulting underage girls, for sexual harassment. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. So like, and like, he has done these things. He's currently hiding out in Romania because apparently the laws regarding that sort of stuff is like looser in that. Anyway, so yeah, so he's hiding out there. He does TikToks. He has this podcast that he does where he goes on and he says, like, some of the highlight reels that I've seen of him saying stuff like, if your girlfriend has an Instagram account, that's cheating because she's posting herself out to everybody online and everybody who is on Instagram can see that. He thinks that men should be able to have a bit on the side, but women can't, because that would be cheating. But it's not cheating if you do it. It's only cheating if a woman does it. Like, he is a raging misogynist. He despises women. Absolutely despises women. I obviously haven't sat down and had a conversation with Andrew. I'd like to, but at the same time, kind of wouldn't like to at the same time, because it's just like the bile and the awfulness that would be infecting my ears. I would just hate it. But anyway, so yeah, basically horrible human being. Hasan, obviously, because of his following and stuff like that, and his kind of numbers that would be watching any one of his live streams, they're huge. That obviously kind of got like him a backdoor entrance into this discussion. So he's coming on now, and apparently he does very, very well. A lot of people online are talking about that he does very, very well. Yeah, so I haven't seen it. I've only seen clips. So we'll find out. We'll see what's happening.
And we can see crime rates going through the roof. We can see all the fucking school shooting, all this stupid shit that's happening because men have no emotional control anymore. And that's what's going to happen. Is the society's going to degrade, and the countries where men still stick to their honor and their age-old expected ways of acting, are there going to be a safer societies overall? So time will prove me right, but I have nothing against the guy. He's fine.
I think Andrew and the previous person that was on the call are just two sides of the same coin. They're both wrong, and they're both kind of right in different ways. But thinking that this has anything to do with gender is silly, all right? It has nothing to do with gender. Women can be just as oppressive and as brutal as men can be. Ultimately, It has everything to do with capitalism, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the gender. The assumption that women are going to be like hysterical across the board, that kind of generalization, is just incorrect. And that's why, Andrew, I've seen some of your work as you're doing the rounds on Twitch here. And a lot of the things that you said that you've been called out on, specifically in regards to like women driving, as a matter of fact, are just generally untrue. There's no empirical evidence to back up those claims, which is why you resort to anecdotes quite frequently and say things like, oh, well, it's just common sense, right? But it's not technically common sense. It's just your personal opinion.
Completely. It's my personal opinion based on my personal biases of my life experience. Now, when I say these, exactly. And when I say these things, X amount of people agree with me and X amount of people disagree with me. That's fine, and that's the same of nearly any statement in the world. Okay, I can say the world is round, and there'll be a percentage of people who disagree with me. That's totally and utterly fine. I come on here and talk about my own personal experiences, and my experiences, men are better drivers than women. I'm not saying there's no good female drivers. I'm not saying a female can't.
No. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. There is a truth, and then there is your own personal experiences backed by anecdotes, right? Or your own personal opinion backed by anecdotes from your own personal experiences. Now, your own personal experiences are oftentimes going to be incorrect and not close to the reality. That's why there's an entire field of statistical analysis. That's why we do empirical That's why we rely on empirical evidence when we're making decisions. Why? Because we all carry a bunch of personal biases. And when we analyze situations, we do not have enough scope to grasp the entirety of the situation. We cannot comprehend it with our human brains.
Bro, listen,
which is why when it comes to women driving, it's a funny point because the truth is different. The truth is the exact opposite.
No, listen. First things first. There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. I'm sure you've heard that from Mark Twain. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you're deriving.
You can massage numbers, but
okay, so he's just disregarding an entire like field of study. Like, you know, that in order to be a statistician, you have to have the educational background in that, to be able to, Jesus fucking Christ, this is just insane. Yeah, no, just throwing out an entire thing because, you know, the facts contradict your feelings, so it's a massive fuck you because my feelings are getting hurt right now, and I don't like your actual statistics. I'm just going to go with what I think based on my own personal life. But Jesus fucking Christ, I mean, if we're to take that logic, right, if we're to take just that as a thing, okay, so if you have somebody who is born, raised, grew up with, is now in their mid-20s, and they've only ever been around white people, right? Never seen any other just imagine a scenario. There's no fucking TV, there's no electricity, there's no internet, no nothing. You, based on your own personal thing, then on your own personal experience, on your own anecdotal evidence, can go out there and rightfully say, and in this guy's mind, disagree with the stats and the empirical evidence, which is there is not only white people on this planet. But you can go up and you can be like, well, I've only ever seen white people. There's I've you know what I mean, my lived experience is all people that I have ever been in contact with have all been white. There's never been any from any other race. So therefore, if you're not white, you're not a person. You can say that based on your own personal anecdotal evidence. The point is that anecdotal evidence doesn't mean jack fucking shit. If your anecdotal evidence disagrees with empirical evidence, stuff that we've done studies on, and, you know, there's data, you have evidence for it. If all of that goes against your anecdotal evidence and you're still sticking with your anecdotal evidence, that's a you problem. That's not a problem for anybody else.
You're deriving your truth from an internet study. That's fine. You can derive your truth from an internet study on a bunch of different things. The truth of life is the truth that you experience as an individual. That is the only truth that we all live within. You live within your truths, I live within my truths, because these are the truths I've experienced as an individual. If certain things happen to you over and over and over and over and over again, but the truth on the internet says it's not true, that doesn't mean that your experiences are any less real. So if you come here and say the internet says X, especially
your experiences can be real. You could be a statistical anomaly, as a matter of fact. You can be one of those people, but more often than that, I'm going to
talk to you because I keep letting you talk and you're finishing your point and I'm trying to talk. So
okay, go ahead.
I'm going to. The fact that you're going on the internet, finding some study and saying that this is the truth, especially after the age of COVID and all the fucking truth we were told with that garbage, you want to sit here and say, oh, the internet said X. I'm sure the internet did. I'm talking about my personal experiences, and some people agree with me and some people do not. That is perfectly fine. Don't give a fuck if people agree with me or otherwise. People are listening to me and they're either agreeing with me or not.
I know, but you're still wrong, and that's the problem.
I disagree with you.
Do you want to be right, or do you want to keep speaking into a hug box where people agree with you? And
Prove
then,
to me I'm
you know,
wrong.
Well, if you just completely devalue empirical evidence, actuarial sciences, the entirety of the insurance industry that relies on making these sorts of calculations to ensure that these quotes are as profitable as possible, which ends up charging men higher rates than women, is a statistical likelihood that men are more dangerous drivers than women across the board and get into more car accidents across the board. If you're going to look at all of that and say it doesn't matter because that does not correspond to my own personal experiences, then you're silly. You're being silly. You're being a
Okay,
silly person.
he
If
doing really
everyone
well
thought
here.
like you did, right? We would have no scientific achievements on this planet. We would still be living inside of fucking caves. And now, as much as I love Liver King personally, I don't think that that would be a good planet to live on. I'm pretty happy for, I don't know, all the medical achievements, all the scientific achievements that we have reached. And at the heart of all of that, all of those accomplishments lies
5 months
an
has.
understanding of arriving at the truth through empirical evidence.
You done?
Yeah.
Cool. In my personal experiences, all of the car crashes I've been involved in, all the times my car was hit, and all the negative experience I've had
He's
on the
going
road,
out like
women
Stan Sharon.
were at fault. That is, now you can sit here and say the insurance claims say that. I never said the insurance claims don't say that. I'm saying that.
He's literally just going, it doesn't matter. I mean, I think Hasan says this, like, this was obviously a while ago, and I am kind of remembering from, like, because I had obviously wanted to do this stream a little while ago. But it's just, like, you're literally saying, no, it doesn't matter what your, like, evidence is if it's going to go against, because I think that Hasan says at some point in this that, like, car insurance for men is higher than it is for women, based on the statistic that men are more likely to get into car crashes. So, like, it's just, yeah, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do with this guy anymore.
I am not comfortable with women driving because of my personal experience. Those are my personal experiences. You can drag up all the empirical evidence in the world you want to try and drag up. Anyone with a brain knows how that aids the world agendas anyway. I don't want to go too political on a stream that's going to get taken down. So I'm not saying that I can't find a female race car driver. I'm not saying that.
That's not what I'm saying either. I'm not talking about like statistical anomalies. I'm straight up talking about the overwhelming amount of evidence that suggests that women are more careful drivers than men. Okay? And therefore better drivers than men. Now, you keep resorting back to your personal anecdotes. So let me walk you through this, right?
Brother,
do you agree that human beings have biases?
Do me a favor.
Okay. But hey, I respected your time. Do you want to answer my question? Do you believe that human beings have biases?
Oh, absolutely. We're all biased.
Okay.
Completely.
Do you think that those biases might cloud your judgment?
It's not about clouding judgment.
Not just your personal not just your own personal judgment. Do you think our biases might cloud our personal judgment?
I think every single person on earth is biased and lives within a biased
absolutely.
reality.
That's absolutely true. Okay. So if you agree with me on both of those accounts, you understand that your anecdotes, your own personal accumulation of information, is going to be clouded by your own personal biases. So you're not going to be able to assess the information adequately in the same way that empirical evidence would. This is precisely why we look at data rather than make arguments around our... Wait, let me finish. Come on.
I understand what you're saying.
This is precisely why we do that.
We've went over the same point like 5 times here.
Everyone's saying kick you. You're long-winded the point. You're saying that the empirical evidence is saying X, so it doesn't matter what my personal experience.
Everyone's saying kick you. Jesus Christ, son. Go and fucking cry about it. Like, fuck me. Hello, Amber. Lovely to see you in live chat, just by the way.
That's fine. My point is, let me change it. Let's say that the empirical evidence says that a pit bull is more likely to bite you than a Dalmatian. But in your life experience, every time you went near a Dalmatian, it bit you, and a pit bull never did. Are you going to go up to a Dalmatian still completely and go, oh, it's fine, completely unbiased because the empirical evidence says X when you're covered in scars? No. You're going to say, Dalmatians bite me for some reason, and I'm not comfortable around Dalmatians. That's called human nature. Okay. So I'm telling you my personal experiences, and I don't care.
Okay, like, he has a half point here. He does have a half point. It's not necessarily to say that empirical evidence, is subsided in favor of anecdotal evidence. But your anecdotal evidence is going to kind of, overtake you personally when it comes to you living your own life. So if in the example that he just gave, despite pit bulls being statistically much more likely to bite you, if you've only been bitten by a Dalmatian, you're going to be a little bit... It's not necessarily that you're going to, run and cry and piss and shit yourself if you see a Dalmatian, but you are going to be a little bit more kind of hesitant, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, no, that that particular breed of dog is going to bite me, or you shouldn't be kind of going out to anybody else and being like, don't get a Dalmatian because every time that I've been near one, it's bitten me. That's not how this works. You have a half point in saying that it's going, like, whether you like it or not, it's going to impact you. It's just going to. But that shouldn't, like that still shouldn't override the empirical evidence that says that this is, like, statistically not likely to happen.
I understand your point. Empirical evidence says X. Women in this country can do X. I completely get that. For secondly, it's also country by country because you're only talking about America because you're American and you don't see outside of the world. That's fine.
I'm Turkish, actually. I grew up in Turkey.
That's not the point. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is I'm uncomfortable with a woman driving. And if you actually ask most women, if it gets late at night or it starts getting dark or it starts raining heavily or the parking gets difficult, they usually ask the man to drive themselves. I know many women who do that. They're not offended by my assumption. I know loads of women who go, oh, I don't want to park, you park it. Loads. There's not a bad thing about it. Who gives a shit, right? It's not even a big deal. You've come on here deciding you really want to stick up for the chicks and maybe, one of them will drive over to your house. It's cool. We've got better things to talk about.
I look, let's be real. I don't think I need to be a male feminist to be able to attract women, okay? However, having said that, that was a funny implication. Having said that, you are failing to recognize what I am trying to say. I walked you through these steps slowly but surely. The thing is, the Dalmatian example that you gave is great. Why is it great? Because you are creating now a hypothetical scenario in which you want your opponent to concede. I can do the exact same thing and say, well, in my personal experience, Dalmatians never bite, or pit bulls never bite, whichever one you thought was the more aggressive breed, right? In my personal experience, what if in a million times that I have bred pit bulls or been around pit bulls, not a single one of them has ever been aggressive? We will never be able to arrive at a meaningful solution or a resolution to this conversation if we're both operating on personal anecdotes and hypotheticals. That is not how you can conduct an appropriate debate.
Good. So now you're saying the thing I just said. I have my own biases, my personal experiences, and I say them. Some people disagree and some people agree, and I don't care. You now come along.
But you're still wrong, though, because I'm not operating on biases when I talk about women driving. I'm talking about the empirical evidence. I might have personally thought women are worse at driving than men as well. But once you arrive at, once you look at the evidence and you realize that said evidence suggests something else, you're probably not going to continue believing the prior thing that you believed, right?
We've went over the same point like 5 times, and I think we're just.
I know, but it's just weird because I can't I can't break through Andrew's.
I understand your point. You're saying that even if I thought
we're losing the girl.
No, exactly. I want to talk to her. He's saying even if I thought women were worse drivers, I've seen the empirical evidence, and I'm so smart that I ignore my own eyes and ears and believe what the internet tells me. That's what he's coming along.
That's not what I'm asking you to do, my friend.
I'm sure you're double vaccinated. It all makes sense to me now. You believe what you're told to believe. You don't believe your own eyes. You don't believe your own ears.
But it's just, like, this whole thing about, like, you believe what you're told to believe. No, it's not necessarily that, like, what you're told to believe, right? Like, but I mean, like, you could use this example in so many other things. You could use this example to do with things like, just like your basic education, in any type of school, in like fucking kindergarten if you want to. It's Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, where does that line of logic stop is my main point, right? Like, does it stop when it gets to you kind of being like, no, well, you say that 1 + 1 = 2, but how do I know? I mean, like, you're just believing what you're told to believe, right? Like, that literally fits in with that example. It's Amber, I wish that he was doing it unironically, or intentionally. He's not. He's actually this stupid. He actually believes this. It's terrible and kind of, almost scary in a way. But, anyway, look. Yeah, let's crack on.
And that's what you're going to sit here and talk about empirical evidence that you found on Google. Cool. If you believe everything that's on Google, that is your prerogative, my friend. And if you think that makes you sound smart in the modern world after the 3 years we've just been through, to say that I read a piece of paper that tells me to believe X, so I believe X, and I ignore my own personal experiences. And you think
I'm
that
not
makes you
asking
sound...
you to ignore your own personal experiences. I'm
you're
simply asking you to look at the data.
So let's change the subject because you've just proven your point.
Okay. Andrew, do you believe? Well, you didn't really prove anything, but it's cool. Do you believe the Earth is flat, or do you believe the Earth is spherical, round?
2 years.
Aldi has his headphones on.
Oh, look, he's after taking his headphones off.
He gets very stressed.
He's after taking his headphones off because he's crying like a little bitch. Jesus fucking Christ, man. This guy is who you think, like, that's who you think the human embodiment of alpha masculinity is? Jesus fucking Christ. He's literally fucking... Okay, so first off, right, he's sitting there, shirtless, with an okay body, with a fucking, like, one of those, like, training, you hit the thing, mannequin thingy in the background, whatever the fuck the name of that is. You know, he's sitting there, he's wearing sunglasses indoors, smoking a fucking cigar. It's like, dude, you look like a fucking cretin. You don't look like an alpha male. You don't look like a big tough guy. You look like a fucking idiot. That's what you look like. Jesus fucking... He's literally running and crying like a little bitch.
Yeah, it's cool. It's important, you know? Sometimes you can't take the heat. Sometimes you can't take the heat, so you gotta get out of the kitchen a little bit. Andrew, do you believe the Earth is flat or round, spherical, globe?
Round.
You believe it's round, right? But when you walk outside, it feels like it's flat.
Brother, and I
it looks flat, it feels flat, but you believe it's round. Why do you believe the Earth is round?
Because I have personal experience that would prove to me that the Earth is round.
Oh, you have personal experience. What happened? Did you go up to the fucking moon? Is that how you figured it out?
Exactly. I flew up into space and I looked down on Earth and I saw a big circle.
That's crazy. Okay, you don't have to. Hey, listen, you don't have to concede on that point, but I think you and I both understand the importance of scientific, the importance of empirical evidence in that one, right? Or you know,
all our fun.
Science.
I saw him there, and I thought, wow, this guy, wow, okay, he's gonna ruin the stream. We had a hot chick. Now you're here.
Did you? Is that what you thought?
Just chill out. Like,
it's
I don't want to argue.
Wait, so what's up? Is it a little bit more difficult when I'm not like the traditional like SJW looking person? Is that why it feels like the stream is a little bit more ruined?
No, it's not difficult. As a professional, I'll tell you the conversation we just had.
Yeah, dude, you've been kicked in the face and stuff. Like, I'm sure you can handle little old me.
Exactly. So I'll tell you as a professional the conversation we just had. I said I am biased and I don't believe women can drive. That's my personal experience. I don't care if anyone agrees. You came along and said, don't interrupt me. You came along and said, no, that's not true because of the evidence. I came and said, I don't care about the evidence, my personal experience. You said, I also have personal experiences and we're all biased. I agreed. Then you said, even if I had personal experiences that said X, I would ignore them because the internet told me to believe Y. I believe what I'm told.
That's not what I said. I said that regardless of my own personal biases that I might have, evidence is still more important than my personal biases.
When you guys are both talking at once, you can't hear anything.
And you've lost, and it's boring. So let's just move on to the next subject.
Is that what?
Oh, you're losing the argument. You know that you're losing the argument. So you're like, you know what? This is just boring. Let's just move on. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, this is a podcast that, like, he's a regular on. Or, like, this is maybe his podcast. Like, this is... How do his fans look at this and think, a beacon of alpha masculinity right here? Just beyond me.
What happens? You just say I'm boring and I lost, and then you win. Is that what it is?
Do a poll on the chat, and if you won, then we'll continue to talk it. But I'm sure you've lost, and it's boring. And it's
do you want me to leave the conversation that desperately, Andrew? It seems like you're running away a little bit.
Oh, we're just going in a never-ending circle. Like, we
can move on from that. We can move on from the importance of science and Andrew's personal biases. Andrew, can you tell me a little bit about the Hustlers University, whatever that is? Not in a promotional capacity. I know that, like, you're doing the rounds on Twitch, and I know that that's probably giving you a big boost, but I want to understand, you know, because you are a...
I don't know what the fuck Hustlers University is, by the way. I'm pretty sure Hustlers was like a fucking nudie magazine at some point, and so like I don't know if that's like done intentionally or ironically, but I don't know what the fuck Hustlers University is. So,
businessman, I want to understand how you generate revenue. Is it okay to get this information for free, or do I have to pay $50 and then maybe get an affiliate link and get other people to also join so I can make a 10% cut off of them also joining Hustlers University?
You can find everything on the website, and you can join if you want more information. That's fine.
So you don't want to share this information for free right now. You don't want to educate me on that.
I don't want to sit here and spend the next hour you trying to accuse me of some bullshit.
I'm not. I'm here to learn. Andrew, you are a brilliant mind. Maybe a little rattled from the numerous concussions, but brilliant nonetheless. So I want to hear more about your business strategy, if possible.
It's actually quite interesting that people who are too scared to get in the ring try and make fun of people who have bravery to try and make fun of them.
No, I do think it's very brave. I do think it's very brave.
Oh, all right. So let's not detract the bravery of men who do things you're afraid to do. That's the first thing.
No. You are absolutely incredibly brave. You still might have CTE, but you are incredibly brave. I appreciate it.
I mean,
I don't know how this didn't happen earlier, especially seeing as like we're like almost 19 minutes into this 20-minute video, but I am way too sober for this, so I'm going to amend that.
Whatever, it's fine. The point I'm trying to make is, I know you want to sit here and talk about hate you and try and break it down, and you've prepared a bunch of notes, etc.
I have no notes whatsoever. I'm a dumbass. I don't know anything I'm talking about. I'm simply here to learn from you.
Yo, can we stop with the sarcastic shit and just have an actual
No,
conversation?
I'm literally, but that's the truth.
No, you're being so sarcastic though. Like, why are you being so sarcastic? Like,
I'm not. I'm literally.
Bro, you just said,
come
like,
on.
10
Come on.
minutes
Come on. I'm asking questions.
Yeah, you're
Hasan,
being sarcastic. Like, listen.
Hasan, please. It's pretty clear that I was the better Hasan. So
yeah, that's agreed. I agree with that one.
If you could just get out the call, maybe it would fix the stream.
I think so.
Would you guys, if you guys would like me to leave the call, I can do that. I don't want to be. I don't want to be rude.
I gotta get back to work.
I do not want to be rude, boys. You know, this is your stream. Andrew, I'd love to talk to you in more detail if you'd like to. I hope that one day you can educate me on your revenue strategies. I mean, it does look a little bad though if you feel as though I should leave the call because you feel like I'm overpowering you a little bit. Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I think that might have kind of gone on a little bit longer, and we're definitely not watching a fucking 43-minute long video. So yeah, that's not going to happen.
And hit that.
But yeah, no, Jesus Christ, that was wacky. That was fucking wacky as fuck. No, like Hasan actually did like a really good job there. You know, like he was taking the piss out of him. He was fucking ridiculing him. He was doing all that. He proved that he's a little bitch. That he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like he's just a little bitch boy. You know, that's all he is. But you know what? Like that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to be a little bitch boy. But the problem is when other people look at a very obvious bitch boy and is going, no, he's not a bitch boy. He's an alpha male boy. That's when it becomes a problem. And it's obviously then a problem to do with like just everything that he has said. So there we go. Spooky says Hustlers University is the first thing that popped up on Google after typing Hustler. I could be misremembering that. I could be totally misremembering it. But anyway, welcome to Hustlers University 2.8, a community where me, you, and dozens of war room soldiers will teach you exactly how to make money. Jesus fucking Christ! Oh wow. Yeah. Fucking war room soldiers, really? Like, I get that he's after leaning heavily into this, you know, fucking the alpha male, fucking twisted view of masculinity thing, like, but fuck me, Jesus Christ, he's like, isn't at all on the nose. But anyway, yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. So, something else. Look, we might kind of do a deeper dive into who Andrew Tate is, you know, like if something else kind of happens or like comes up or whatever else about him, we could, you know, we we can look at going back into him. Mr. Willis, lovely to see you, sir. Yeah, again, sorry. I know that the thumbnail for this video was like news of the week or like something like that, but like look, some of this stuff, just because I haven't streamed in a little while, it is a little bit like, it's not necessarily old news, but it's older. It's not necessarily just this week. But this happened a little while ago. Now, Jon Stewart, everybody, like, for those of you who know who Jon Stewart is, you will know him from the late night TV show that he used to do. It was heavily talking about politics. He came at it from generally a pretty decent left-wing view. I don't know an awful lot about Jon Stewart's like personal politics, but the things that he has done and like his continued fight for veterans is genuinely, I mean it's like fucking incredible. There was a couple of videos that went viral maybe like a year or two ago where he was up in front of Congress and he was saying that like these people are going to die. It was fantastic speech, absolutely fantastic speech. And this is something similar. It's about war vets who, when they were deployed to certain areas, they were, you know, inhaling all of these like toxic gases and these toxins and stuff like that. And now that they're back in the US, now they're trying to get healthcare for that, because obviously they're after breathing in all these toxic gases and shit, right? That's not exactly what you would want to be doing with your day-to-day life. It's caused all of these, you know, health problems, all these medical abnormalities and stuff like that. So there was a vote on it, and it initially failed. It did end up passing. Now, as I said at the start of the stream, I will always let you know if I have watched a video beforehand. I have watched this. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. I just think he did an amazing job here. So let's watch.
So ain't this a bitch? Ain't this a bitch? America's heroes who fought in our wars, outside sweating their asses off, with oxygen, battling all kinds of ailments, while these motherfuckers sit in the air conditioning, walled off from any of it. They don't have to hear it. They don't have to see it. They don't have to understand that these are human beings. Do you get it yet? Do we see that these aren't heroes? These are men and women, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, that we just let stand outside in the heat when they can't breathe. I'm going to read you something. This is beautiful. I'm going to read you something beautiful. You know what? I said a curse word, and I'm sorry about that. That was my fault. Let me say something beautiful. This is a tweet from Senator Rick Scott of Florida from yesterday. It's beautiful. And I'm sorry about the cursing, and let me say something beautiful to make it up to you. I was honored to join the USO today and make care packages for our brave military members in gratitude of their sacrifice and service to our nation. And there's a beautiful picture. I wish you could see it. He's standing with a little package. Did you get the package? I think it has M&Ms in it and some cookies and some moist towelettes. I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know what to say. I've been coming down here 10, 15 years. I'm used to the hypocrisy. Christina Keene will tell you from VFW. She sat in an office with Mitch McConnell and a war veteran from Kentucky, and he looked that man in the eyes and he said, we'll get it done. I lied to him. Because Mitch McConnell yesterday.
Unironically, though, that's kind of a pretty fucking spot-on Mitch McConnell impression. That's like it's actually good.
Flipped. I'm used to the lies. I'm used to the hypocrisy. Senator Pat Toomey won't take a meeting with the veterans groups. Sends out his chief of staff. I'm used to the cowardice. I've been here a long time. Senate's where accountability goes to die. These people don't care. They're never losing their jobs. They're never losing their health care. Pat Toomey didn't lose his job. He's walking away. God knows what kind of pot of gold he's stepping into to lobby this government to shit on more people. I'm used to all of it, but I am not used to the cruelty. They passed it. June 16th, they passed the PACT Act. 84-14. You don't even see those scores in the Senate anymore. They passed it. Every one of these individuals that has been fighting for years, standing on the shoulders of Vietnam veterans who have been fighting for years, standing on the shoulders of Persian Gulf War veterans fighting for years, Desert Storm veterans, to just get the health care and benefits that they earned from their service. And I don't care if they were fighting for our freedom. I don't care if they were fighting for the flag. I don't care if they were fighting because they wanted to get out of a drug treatment center or it was jail or the army. I don't give a shit. They lived up to their oath. And yesterday, they spit on it in abject cruelty. These people thought they could finally breathe. You think their struggles end because the PACT Act passes? All it means is they don't have to decide between their cancer, drugs, and their house. Their struggle continues. Gives them health care, gives them benefits, lets them live.
Keeps veterans from going homeless, keeps veterans from becoming addicts, keeps veterans from committing suicide.
Senator Toomey's not going to hear that because he won't sit down with this man. Because he is a fucking coward. You hear me? A coward. And like I say, I'm used to it. But this type of cruelty on those that we say we hold up as our most valued Americans, then what are we? Pat Toomey stood up there, Patriot Pat Toomey, excuse me, I'm sorry. I want to give him his propers. I want to make sure that I give him his propers. Patriot Pat Toomey stood on the floor and said, this is a slush fund. They're going to use $400 billion to spend on whatever they want. That's nonsense. I call bullshit. This isn't a slush fund. You know what's a slush fund? The OCO, the Overseas Contingency Operations Fund. $60 billion, $70 billion every year on top of $500 billion, $600 billion, $700 billion of a defense budget. That's a slush fund. Unaccountable. No guardrails. Did Pat Toomey stand up and say, this is irresponsible, the guardrails? No, not one of them did. They vote for it year after year after year. You don't support the troops. You support the war machine. That's all you care about.
He personally signed the proclamation to send me to war.
Boy, they haven't met a war they won't sign up for, and they haven't met a veteran they won't screw over. What the fuck are we? And now they're going to go away. Pat Toomey says, I've got veterans groups behind me. I call bullshit. These are the veterans groups. VFW, American Legion, IAVA, Wounded Warriors, DAV, and vets. They're all here. This is the veterans community, Senator. They don't stand behind you. In fact, you won't let them stand in front of you. Cowards, all of them. Cowards, all of them. And now they say, well, this will get done maybe in the after we get back from our summer recess, maybe during the lame duck. because they're on Senate time. Do you understand? You live around here. Senate time is ridiculous. These motherfuckers live to 200. They're tortoises. They live forever, and they never lose their jobs, and they never lose their benefits, and they never lose all those things. Well, they're not on Senate time. They're on human time, cancer time. Don't you have families? Don't you have people who are deciding how to live their last moments? I know some of them. They've been down here advocating with us. They spent their remaining time advocating so that other soldiers didn't have to face the indignities and the depravity and the desperation that they faced. And none of them will hear it. And none of them care. Except to tweet. Boy, they'll tweet it. Can't wait to see what they come up with on Veterans Day, on Memorial Day.
Then because okay, everything is it back? Are we back? Did I have minor Wi-Fi issues? Is that what happened? Okay, sorry. I deeply apologize if nothing kind of happened there for on the stream's end, but for me it just went all kinds of fucking just whacked there for a while. So I was like, I'm back. Okay, I did disappear. I am now back. But anyway, we shall carry on.
Not allowed to just leave your post when the mission isn't completed. Apparently you take an oath. You swear an oath, and you can't leave. But these folks can leave because they're on Senate time. Go ahead, go home, spend time with your families, because these people can't do it anymore. So they can't leave until this gets done. Because these people will not give up, they will not give in, and they will not relent. This is an embarrassment to the Senate, to the country, to the founders, and all that they profess to hold dear. And if this is America first, then America is fucked.
Yeah, well, look, sorry, just absolutely incredible speech. That last line, especially, Jesus Christ, you know, kind of like throwing their slogan right back at him, right? They're talking about America first. It's always Republicans who are so concerned about the veterans when it comes to like running in an election, right? Or for Congress or for Senate or for whatever. They're always so like, oh my God, the veterans, they are our heroes. We have to protect them, yada, yada, yada. They're always the ones who are going to say it. But when it comes to actually sticking up for them and when it comes to actually doing something for those veterans, it's very, very strange to me that it's always Democrats who are always voting yes for it, and it's Republicans who are always voting no for it. Despite the fact that Dems, it's not that they necessarily don't care, but they're not going out there on the campaign trail, you know, praising to high and mighty, not even nearly as like it's a drop in the ocean compared to how much Republicans do it, and yet the Dems are the ones fighting for them, and Republicans are the ones fucking them over. Because that's true, you know. I mean, like if that's how you're, if America today is the realized envisioning of America first, then John's absolutely right. America is fucked. Like it's just the people who sign up to potentially fight and die for their country, when they get ill or when they get wounded or when they have health problems after the fact, when they come home, when they've served their time, if they then have anything that is holding them back from living a normal day-to-day life, they don't care. They don't seem to care anyway. They've never voted on those lines. They just don't seem to give a fuck. So if that's America first, the people who are fighting to continue or to make sure that you continue to enjoy the freedoms and the liberties that you have, if you won't even stand up for them, what the hell do you think they think about you? But anyway, yeah. Look, as I had kind of said previously, I'm not 100% sure what his personal politics are. I genuinely don't know. He would obviously appear very left to me. But yeah, no, I think that whenever he's talking about something like this, it's always just absolutely spot on. And yeah, can't really kind of say much more other than that. The other thing that's kind of been not necessarily in the news, but it did pop up on Twitter for like a day, and then we just kind of moved on to the next thing, right? But this was kind of trending everywhere, that GTA is after going woke, that Rockstar is after going woke, right? Now, a lot of people kind of thought that it was just because they now have a female protagonist in it, so they're like basically doing the same sort of thing, or it's the same mechanic as 5, where you have 3 main characters rather than just the one, right? So you have 3 characters that you can play as. It's going to be the same thing in 6, and one of them is a female. She's also Latina. And the only reason that people are saying that they're after going woke now is because Rockstar made a statement where they said that they're not going to lean into like the cultural stereotypes, or you know, the whole kind of just any of the stereotypes about Latin America, about like women in general, any of those sorts of things. They just said that they're just going to be leaning away from those types. I'll just kind of scroll down a little bit. It kind of deals with it, but kind of not really. It's just kind of talking about GTA as a franchise. But anyway, it's the only source on it that I could find. But it's look, I don't know. I mean, I did also see this, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a good one right there. That's a fucking good one right there. GTA 5 had an openly queer. Absolutely true. He was constantly talking about fucking other men. Gender yeah, absolutely, cross-dressing. There's numerous instances where you like, I think it's actually part of the game at one point, where like you wake up and Trevor is just wearing a dress. So like it's absolutely immigrant himself, because he's technically Canadian, pro-immigrant, anti-cop protagonist. Right now, I do think it's a little bit, it's not, it's glossing over a lot of Trevor's like other, like the cannibalism, the fucking just, yeah, they're overlooking a lot of stuff here, but overall I think it is a very good point to make. And also, I mean, obviously, Trevor, if you have played GTA, if you know of like GTA's, like, you know, even kind of casting your mind back, Trevor is one of the most beloved characters, mainly because I think that Trevor, how he is and as he's written, he's basically the, like, it's how people are feeling when they're playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, just absolutely reckless, chaotic for no fucking reason. You know, like, almost basically, like, just falls short of like, him actually saying as like a line of dialogue that he wants to just fucking drive into a group of pedestrians just because. Like, he is that like fucking just like mental character, but it's the kind of mindset that I think a lot of people are in when they're playing the game anyway. That's why I personally think it worked. But he's a hugely popular character. But nobody was talking about, even at the time, no one was talking about, oh my god, they have a main character as a guy who is wearing a fucking dress, or is like doing any of this. Like, nobody was talking about this then. Why is, I don't know. I think that like Rockstar are after doing a fantastic thing here, because stereotypes, whereas some stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, other ones are just purely harmful, right? So the whole thing about like the Irish stereotype that we're all, you know, drunks like, or anything else like that, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of fucking drunk people here. Like, drinking is like deeply ingrained into Irish culture, so that's a stereotype for a reason, right? Because like there's a lot of truth behind it. But some stereotypes are just, they're bordering on discriminatory. They're harmful. They're not positive. They're not good. You know, they're like kind of meant to demean or to, you know, purposefully ridicule a entire group, right? So I think kind of getting rid of the negative stereotypes that is associated with any group, I think that if you can, like, because you don't need that to be in the game, right? Like, you don't need it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was the other thing on that. I just kind of found it. I thought it was kind of super funny. Obviously, like, a lighter piece of news that doesn't actually like directly affect anybody or anything else like that, but it was something that I saw. I thought it was super, super funny. Like, Rockstar of all fucking companies, Jesus Christ, man, some of the shit that they've done. You know, it's like, why is it? But there was also some people who didn't even need to kind of go into the whole, oh, they're staying away from like negative stereotypes and stuff like that. There was some people who just saw that it was going to be a female protagonist and just saw that as them being woke and being like ultra progressive and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that there was a difference between a male beating up a prostitute after having sex with her and a female beating up a prostitute after having sex with her. I didn't think there was much of a difference there. Like, the action is the exact same. So, like, what difference does it make to me whether it's a guy doing it or whether it's a girl doing it? Like, that is not the issue. That you know what I mean? Like, if it was a case of you literally saw that in, like, real life, you saw a guy and a girl, like, they both did the exact same thing. I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh, well, this one is worse because it's a woman doing it. That's stupid. You know, like, it's, yeah. Anyway, look, at trying to get logic out of some of these people, just, yeah, you'll be waiting a long time. The only other thing that was kind of there, or that was kind of big in the news a little while ago, was this whole thing about monkeypox. Conservators are now trying to turn this into the AIDS crisis 2.0, basically, right? So essentially what they're doing is monkeypox has been found. It's been seen in trace amounts, not like obviously large amounts or anything, but in trace amounts that are remaining in drinking water. So if you have monkeypox, you take a glass of water, you take a sip of that water, right? You put it down. If it's at like a social gathering or whatever it happens to be, if the glasses get confused, if they get mixed up, whatever, someone who doesn't have it drinks from that cup, there's a chance that they can contract the virus, right? Which technically speaking makes it like equal to, if not like even just edging out slightly even more the transmissibility of COVID. So it's more contagious than, there's an argument to be made there. I'm sure there's actual data on it, but anyway. People are now, but like, just because of that, like, so people read that story and they just kind of instantly, they took it a step further than what it actually was. So you know what I mean? If you shake hands with someone who has monkeypox, is there a chance you're going to get it? I mean, yes, but there's a chance that you could get the common cold if you shake hands with someone. But people are now saying that when children eventually start to contract monkeypox, right, for a variety of different reasons, they're now going to kind of turn this into, oh, well, it's gay people giving it to children there because they're predators and everything else, right? It's an attack on gay people. It is like a reintroduction of an extraordinarily harmful, not even like, it's obviously not a stereotype, but it's just this blatant bigoted attack. So, you know, like, back in the kind of like 80s and 90s and stuff like that, there was people saying, no, we can't have like gay people on TV being openly gay because that'll indoctrinate kids into being gay. They'll see it, they'll want to replicate it. You say the same you see the same thing now with trans people, right? It's the exact same arguments. You're just taking out a couple of words and putting another couple in. But it's just like this whole this whole thing about monkeypox, it's going to eventually transmit to children because it if it's found in trace amounts in water, it's very highly contagious, right? That's obviously not the only way that it spreads, but it is one of the ways that it spreads. But the point is that this is nothing other than just another attack on gay people, because sure, just why the fuck not? To these people, just why not? Just who actually cares if we're actually, if we're attacking people, if we're risking violence being impacted on this group of people? Who the fuck cares if it's happening, because it's not happening to me? That's their mentality. Because otherwise you wouldn't fucking do it. It is harmful, it is wrong, it has led to violence in the past, and it will lead to violence again. Right? This whole thing, like, it's more evident with trans people, because they will say, oh well, like, what if now someone who is actually a cis male, but who, because of all of the politics now, they think that they can just pop on a dress and go into the female bathroom and, sexually assault, harass, whatever, other women or a child or whatever. It has never happened. It's never happened. There's literally not been even one example of it happening. Like, it's just a scare tactic. That's literally all it is. It's just a scare tactic. I mean, it's ludicrous. There's no truth at all behind it. I don't know what else to say. I don't know, like, what more else to say about that. It's crazy and it's stupid and it doesn't make any fucking sense. They're trying to do AIDS 2.0. That's what they're doing. But anyway, that is all of the topics that I have for right now. I wanted to fly solo. I wanted just to kind of do, like, just my kind of reactions to them and stuff. That's been the stuff that's been happening, in the past 2 weeks. The next stream that I'm going to be doing on Friday night, same time, is probably going to be a bit longer as well, because there's an awful lot more to kind of dive into. It's going to be the Alex Jones trial and the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. So that's going to be super, super fun, because the two of those I kind of think can be interlinked, or they have been interlinked. So yeah, no, that's going to be super, super, super fun. I can't wait for that, because I've been watching the Alex Jones trial. It is fucking glorious. And yeah, the whole raid on Mar-a-Lago has just been, holy god. I've been having fun on Twitter for the last little while. Yeah, I thought that I was going to be covering Alex Jones tonight as well, but no, I kind of made the decision about an hour ago that because they were kind of somewhat interlinked, or there's somewhat to do with the, it kind of happened very, very close together and stuff like that, that I just kind of do stuff that's been happening about like 2 weeks ago, and then the next stream that I'm going to be doing is just about this week. So yeah, so that was my kind of reasoning and thinking there. Yeah. Just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's showed up, who's been in the live chat, been commenting along, everything else like that. I know it's a little bit of a shorter stream. It is a little bit of a shorter stream, but again, yeah, lots more to go through on Friday night. That's definitely going to be a longer one. So anyway, yeah, until Friday, like, subscribe, do all that YouTuber bollocks, and we shall talk to you in the next one.